Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa, and this is your Noontime Wrap. By a slim margin, Hillary Clinton wins the Iowa Democratic caucuses, beating Senator Bernie Sanders 49.8% to 49.6%. The razor-thin victory can be Clinton's ticket to the presidency. 6 years ago, Barack Obama beat her in Iowa and went on to become U.S. president. Officials call the results the closest in Iowa's Democratic caucus history. A candidate's victory in the Midwestern state can be key to long-term success. The state hosts local meetings known as caucuses instead of primaries to determine who makes it to November's general election. Clinton braces for a tough battle in New Hampshire, known to be Sanders' bailiwick. Follow Rappler.com for continuing updates. In the third round of oral arguments on presidential candidate Grace Poe's disqualification cases, Supreme Court Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno asks, what evidence should Poe produce to prove she's a natural-born Filipino? The Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments on the petitions filed by Poe questioning the cancellation of her candidacy. The Commission on Elections says she's not a natural-born Filipino and she failed to meet the 10-year residency requirement for presidential candidates. Comelec Commissioner Arthur Lim says Poe can present DNA test results, baptismal records, and family photos, but Sereno says physical evidence is not always needed. She asked Lim if it's not sufficient circumstantial evidence that Poe, as an infant, was found in the parish of Haro, which he called a sleepy town where there are not many foreigners. The Chief Justice insists the case has a profound implication on foundlings, but Lim says, quote, the sad plight of foundlings is not an issue in these proceedings. Think tank Institute for Policy Analysis of Conflict, or IPAC, Director Sidney Jones warns more terror attacks may happen in Indonesia as leaders of Indonesia's pro-ISIS groups compete to, in her words, prove their fighting credentials.
I think that we are going to be seeing efforts at more attacks from the same group of people that were responsible for the attack in Jakarta. And that group increasingly seems to be a loose association of people linked to Aman Abdurrahman, the preacher detained in one of Jakarta's maximum security prisons. But
Jones says Jakarta attack is, quote, known to be locally organized and not directed from Syria as first thought. ISIS takes responsibility for the bombings on January 14th, where 4 civilians and 4 attackers died. IPAC says the attack appears to be organized by local group partisans of the Caliphate, or Jamar Ansar Khalifa. The report also says the Jakarta attacks were not planned by Bahrum Naim, whom police tagged as the mastermind. And that's the Noontime Wrap. I'm Maria Ressa. Join us again at 6 p.m. for today's top news.